the president issues another denial.
I have already denied the legal charges strongly, and I do so again.
In a surprise twist, Monica Lewinsky prepares to take the special prosecutor to court. Homes swept away, beaches eroded. Tonight, new damage from powerful winter storms. And former President Reagan, tomorrow his 87th birthday, his life today.
From NBC News World Headquarters in New York, this is NBC Nightly News with Tom Brokaw.
Good evening. This is a serious time in Bill Clinton's presidency as he tries to manage what to do next with Saddam Hussein. It also should be a good time as he welcomes to the White House his good friend, British Prime Minister Tony Blair. But until these Monica Lewinsky, Kenneth Starr, obstruction of justice, and perjury questions are cleared up, he does have a cloud hanging over the White House. And now, a feud has opened up between Lewinsky's team and Starr. We begin tonight. NBC's Claire Shipman at the White House with the latest. Claire?
Tom, that's right. Just before a meeting today with Tony Blair, the first question was Monica Lewinsky. But the White House is in fact hoping that since the president addressed the topic today, he might be able to avoid answering a lot of questions on it at a press conference tomorrow.
Tell the American people what...
Another denial, though he provided no new information.
Well, I've already said that the charges are false, but there is an ongoing investigation.
And with key staff members being called before the grand jury, the president said he may try to protect them from answering some questions. The weapon, executive privilege. Deputy Chief of Staff John Podesta, who was called before the grand jury, said he did answer all questions today. But sources say when he goes back, he may stonewall if he's asked, for example, about private conversations with the president since the scandal broke. In that case, the White House could invoke executive privilege to shield Podesta, claiming the presidency could be affected by such questioning. In the meantime, there's the question of immunity for Monica Lewinsky. Ken Starr has given her a deadline of noon tomorrow to decide whether she'll answer questions in person.
We want the truth. We want all the truth. We want it completely, accurately.
NBC News has also learned in the course of Starr's investigation that FBI agents visited a Parcel Plus store in Washington yesterday, where as recently as 2 weeks ago, Lewinsky used the internet and made and received phone calls. At issue whether Lewinsky was trying to reach anyone at the White House. And on a related subject, NBC News has also been told that there may be increasing interest by both parties in the Paula Jones case to talk settlement. Now, the president's lawyers are pushing for an earlier trial date, but we've been told that since this crisis began, there was at least one preliminary contact on the subject of settlement, and that there may be more. Tom?
Thanks very much, Claire Shipman, tonight at the White House. And on the other front in this high-stakes game of political and legal poker, Monica Lewinsky's lawyers are saying, in effect, Whitewater prosecutor Kenneth Starr's word cannot be trusted. NBC's David Bloom is covering that hand. David?
Tom, congressional Democrats now plan to ask the Attorney General to investigate allegations of prosecutorial misconduct against independent counsel Kenneth Starr. And they found an ally in Monica Lewinsky.
Today, sources close to Lewinsky accuse Starr of reneging on a deal to grant the former White House intern complete immunity in exchange for her full cooperation with prosecutors. These sources claim that last Sunday, the two sides struck a deal, and that on Monday, Starr's office sent Lewinsky's lawyers a 3-page letter that begins, "This letter will confirm the agreements reached between Monica Lewinsky and the United States, represented by the Office of the Independent Counsel." Sources say Lewinsky signed the deal that night, returned the agreement to Starr's office the next day, and was told only yesterday the deal is off. Why? Today, a source close to Lewinsky told NBC News they're trying to squeeze her to make it look like the president told her to lie. They obviously want her to implicate the president in some kind of cover-up. That's not going to happen. Tonight, Michigan Democrat John Conyers is asking Attorney General Janet Reno to investigate Starr, accusing the independent counsel's office of prosecutorial misconduct. Among the allegations, that Starr's staff leaked confidential grand jury testimony and tried to improperly pressure and intimidate Monica Lewinsky.
Tonight, sources close to Lewinsky say that next Tuesday, her lawyers plan to ask a federal judge here in Washington to enforce the agreement that they say Starr struck earlier this week. That would spare Lewinsky any risk of prosecution. Sources say she would admit to engaging in a certain type of sex with the president, but deny he encouraged her to lie in any sort of cover-up. Tom?
Thanks very much, David Bloom at the White House tonight. As for Iraq, the president now faces challenges on two fronts: how to line up support for a military attack, and then how to make sure this attack doesn't make matters worse. NBC's Andrea Mitchell is covering that story for us.
Today, even more firepower in the Gulf. 400 aircraft, more than 20 warships, and now a third U.S. aircraft carrier. Tomorrow, 2,000 Marines will be ordered to join the growing armada. But despite all this muscle, no U.S. bomb or missile will be aimed at taking out Saddam Hussein himself.
Would the Iraqi people be better off if there were a change in leadership? I certainly think they would be. But that is not what the United Nations has authorized us to do.
It would be against U.S. law to kill Saddam Hussein, no matter how strong the political pressure.
I'm worried that once again we're going to go over there with a little pinprick, a little slap in the face, and when the smoke clears, he's still going to be there.
And it might not be possible for us to dish out the punishment longer than Saddam Hussein can basically sit down and take it on.
If not Saddam, what is the chief U.S. target? Wiping out Iraq's suspected biological and chemical weapons.
This is about trying to protect our children and their world in the next century from chemical and biological weapons.
But that is an impossible goal. Intelligence officials tell NBC News they don't know precisely where Saddam hides his biological weapons.
The biological and chemical agents that Iraq has can be moved very quickly from place to place.
In fact, during the war, the U.S. never even knew the locations of his secret germ warfare plants, like this one. Even worse, NBC News has learned, the U.S. did not know that Iraq had already loaded bombs and warheads with deadly toxins and moved them to secret air bases in the desert, intended for U.S. forces, Israel and Saudi Arabia. Tonight, France, Russia and China all refuse to support a military strike. Still, U.S. officials say unless UN inspectors get in, Saddam has no way out. Andrea Mitchell, NBC News at the State Department.
Still ahead tonight, on the eve of his 87th birthday, his family talks about Ronald Reagan's twilight years.
It does not bother me whether or not he knows who I am. My goal is to be helpful.
Ronald Reagan's long goodbye, his family's one birthday wish. Up next, El Nino, still a battering ram, more severe weather on both coasts.
Dearest Mother, the war between the generals is over, but the war for human healing rages on.
Through 8 decades, the women doctors of the American Medical Women's Association have worked for the health of all people, wherever the need. Now, out of concern for your health, they've granted their acceptance to supplements for the very first time. These from Nature Made.
When I look into the faces of those we help, I know it is right for us to do this work.
Nature Made is intensely proud to bring you the first supplements to earn the acceptance of the AMWA. Nature Made, trusted by the ones you trust.
After his heart attack, Ed's doctor told him to exercise and take aspirin regularly. So he takes genuine Bayer aspirin to help prevent a second heart attack. But then there are those days when Ed's muscles ache and Ed could use extra strength Bayer. Nothing is stronger for pain. If you're on an aspirin regimen, you don't need Tylenol because doctors say you can take more aspirin for pain.
How are your legs?
Great. Race you home.
Bayer, powerful pain relief and so much more.
It is winter at its worst tonight at both ends of the country. The weather is miserable. In California, one giant rainstorm follows another, and a vicious winter storm that first hit days ago in the south now still is making its way up the East Coast. We have 2 reports tonight. We'll begin on the east with NBC's Robert Hager.
Yet another long day of brutal winds, pounding waves, and high water, leaving hundreds of communities flooded from Long Island in the north and New Jersey as well, down the coast as far south as Virginia.
It's washing over the bulkheads, crossing the road, and filling up everyone's backyard.
4 more were killed today, one in this accident in Louisville. That brings the total to 19 deaths since the storm began. And what a mess it's made. Just look at the resort community of Sandbridge, Virginia. Homes damaged, an air conditioner dangling by its cord. Up the coast, this was what it looked like in South Bethany, Delaware. This is what used to be the entranceway to a house, the concrete footings here. And over this way, this is the main street along the ocean front of this community, now completely washed away. And down that direction, 3 houses now completely surrounded by water. Big piles of debris pushed up by the waves and left where the street used to be.
I just haven't seen it like this in the last 25 years.
The beach erosion has been horrific.
In Maryland, heavy equipment rolled out to try to push eroded sand back. And there were rescues, this woman in Sussex County, Delaware, and this man brought to safety, while others cleaned up and were thankful they managed to escape high water, like this homeowner in Roanoke, Virginia.
It's the worst feeling I've ever had to think that you might lose everything you've worked so hard to get.
More than 50,000 are without power. National Guardsmen brought bottled gas to some without heat. Inland, the problem was snow, coating farms in Indiana with more than a foot, snarling trucks along an interstate in Kentucky. While the leading edge of the storm brought high seas to Cape Cod, Massachusetts, shut down ferry service to Martha's Vineyard in Nantucket. Tonight, at last, the big nor'easter was drifting out to sea. About time. Now the cleanup begins. Robert Hager, NBC News on the Delaware coast.
This is George Lewis in Northern California, where these vacationers in the famed Big Sur country didn't expect this, a ride in a National Guard helicopter as the area was evacuated.
There is no other form of transportation. You saw from the air, there's simply no road in 2 places.
No road. California's coast highway washed out, cutting Big Sur off from the outside.
Thank you for a nice ride.
94-year-old Esther Pfeiffer was among those evacuated.
How was it? Was it fun?
Wonderful.
In Daly City, south of San Francisco, at least 5 houses are in danger of sliding down a cliff into the sea. Here, people are moving out just in case. The homes in this hillside neighborhood may survive this storm, but there are 2 others out over the Pacific waiting to hit the California coast. Storms which pack extra power and extra moisture because of El Nino.
It'll be pretty hard. Because it's like starting over again, you know?
In neighboring San Bruno, the problem is mudslides. Deborah Palamengi was forced out of her home Tuesday.
It's tough. It's real hard to just up and move unexpectedly like that.
Thousands of people are filling sandbags hoping that they won't be flooded out of their homes. California agriculture has suffered heavy crop damage, $5 million worth in Ventura County alone. Shoppers across the country will be hit with higher prices for commodities such as strawberries.
There's not going to be a whole lot of fruit available. We're probably throwing 25% away at this particular time.
Many of California's rivers and streams are at capacity right now. The wind and rain expected to begin tonight will bring more flooding, more misery, more danger. George Lewis, NBC News, San Francisco.
Up next, NBC News in depth, a high-pressure game between the independent counsel, the White House, and the former intern. Where will it all end? But first, from CNBC, let's take a look at what happened on Wall Street today. A down day for the Dow and also for the NASDAQ.
Someday I'd like a slightly larger house. Security for my kids, maybe even a little bit for retirement. All right, a lot.
Schwab's Mutual Fund OneSource gives you access to hundreds of no-load funds. And our valuable tools can help you build your portfolio. Call now for our free select list.
Because part of setting a goal is finding a way to reach it.
It looks like our house.
But it doesn't smell like our house.
That looks like our mom, but...
She's baking!
Too busy to bake? Perfect. Try Pillsbury's one-step cookie. Just pop it in the oven. It even comes in its own pan. Next thing you know, you're eating a big, hot, fresh cookie.
You know what this means?
Yeah, our mom bakes.
kind of scary, huh?
If you can't enjoy regular milk because it does a number on your stomach the way it does to millions of other people, try Lactaid milk. Lactaid is real milk, farm fresh and delicious, specially made so you can digest it easily and naturally. So go on, enjoy real milk again, and all those other things you've been missing with Lactaid milk.
Dateline Friday. It could be a stranger, a coworker, even an ex-lover or spouse.
Any given moment in this country, 200,000 people are being stalked.
So many are stalked, so few know what to do about it.
You have the potential here of making a lot of women very paranoid.
Learn the warning signs. Dateline at a special time, NBC Friday.
NBC News in depth tonight. More on the White House alleged sex scandal. Where do things really stand tonight? What is independent counsel Kenneth Starr's goal here? Negotiations with Monica Lewinsky's lawyer have reached the brink, we're told, as leaks to the news media and new subpoenas continue to fly out of Washington. Starr's force of 14 lawyers and a dozen FBI agents working overtime in what does now appear to be a crucial phase of this investigation. So what is his next move? What is the former White House intern going to do? We have some answers tonight, in depth, from NBC's Lisa Myers.
Today, as Lewinsky fought back, the independent counsel ratcheted up the pressure on both the former intern and the president. Ken Starr subpoenaed TV news tape from the president's visit last year to golfer Greg Norman's Florida estate, where at 1:30 in the morning, Clinton injured his knee.
It's essentially one sentence. It says, produce the videotape or tapes depicting President William Jefferson Clinton and Miss Monica Lewinsky on a trip President Clinton made to Florida.
But Pentagon officials tell NBC News that Lewinsky was in Washington that day, working overtime at her desk.
There are a whole bunch, an army of FBI agents out there finding evidence to corroborate anything that is in Monica Lewinsky's phone tapes.
Starr today insisted his investigation is going well.
Moving very quickly, and we have made very significant progress.
What is Starr's goal? To pressure Lewinsky to testify about her relationship with Clinton and whether he told her to lie under oath. That's why Starr is encouraging the idea there are other witnesses and investigating whether a White House steward may have seen Clinton alone with Monica in the president's private study. Experienced prosecutors say Starr is under tremendous pressure and may be bluffing, but that he also may be willing to build a case against Clinton even without Lewinsky's cooperation.
I don't know that he needs her as much as he thought he did 2 weeks ago. And the reality is that he may not want what it is she has to say if she testifies truthfully.
But what is Lewinsky's goal? To avoid criminal prosecution.
Monica Lewinsky has a problem. She cannot just sit there and do nothing.
Lewinsky could face criminal charges of perjury if she does not cut a deal for full immunity. And with or without a deal, Starr is virtually certain to call her before the grand jury to testify under oath. But if all else fails, would Starr really prosecute a 24-year-old woman for lying in a civil case?
I don't think Monica Lewinsky ought to be up all night long, but I think that once or twice at night she's probably going to wake up and think about it, and that would be reasonable.
Some say tomorrow's negotiating deadline, Lewinsky's threat to take Starr to court, and the possibility of a congressional investigation are all tactics, part of a full-fledged psychological warfare between the independent counsel, the former intern, and the President of the United States. Lisa Myers, NBC News, Washington.
When I come back in a moment, a key piece of evidence turns up in the Birmingham abortion clinic bombing. Will it lead to an arrest? And later, marking a milestone, Ronald Reagan on the eve of another birthday.
Who cares what they say about such and such? What if it isn't true about such and such? Unlike others, we don't listen to what someone's uncle heard through his cousin's podiatrist about some hot biotech stock. Our mutual funds stick to simple, clear strategies that seek performance through discipline. Strategies that are based on facts, not rumors. We're not concerned with the rumor mill. We do not indulge in gossip. AIM. Invest with discipline.
It's Frisky time! Who's up for some music? Disco Wonderland, Disco Dynamite. Ah! We're trapped in the 70s! Now this is my kind of tune. Ain't Isn't life delicious? Friskies!
Grandpa, can I marry you?
Oh, honey, you're so young. I could never keep up with you.
But Mom says that's why you can dad.
Ensure is the #1 doctor-recommended supplement. It helps you stay healthy, active, energetic. As a snack or occasional meal, it's a source of complete, balanced nutrition.
I'm sure you'll marry someone even more fun than me.
Will you at least come to the wedding?
Sure. I'll be there.
Ensure, the #1 doctor-recommended supplement. Drink to your health.
No matter what you drive, Pep Boys has your battery. If you want it, you've got it. And now get the ProStart battery, just $29.99 after mail-in rebate. Get the power you need. All ProStart 75-month batteries, only $29.99 each. Pep Boys, everything but gas.
So listen, my wife says, I read you got to take calcium for your bones. And I say, don't I eat at Joe's? And she says, so? And I say, don't I get heartburn? And she says, so? And I say, don't I take Tums? And she says, so? So I say, Tums Calcium. Get it?
Tums Calcium knocks out heartburn fast, then helps keep your bones stronger, longer. That's something you can't get from Atlanta Liquids Aluminum and Magnesium.
So I say,
Tums.
Now to the hotspots making news tonight. Washington, a not guilty plea from Charlie Tree, the former Little Rock restaurateur, is charged with conspiring to make illegal Democratic campaign contributions and obstructing government investigations. Cabalise, Italy. A day of mourning for the 20 skiers killed earlier in the week when a low-flying Marine Corps fighter jet ripped through the cable supporting a ski lift. And Boston, the largest settlement ever in a sexual harassment case in this country. The federal government hits Astra USA, the American subsidiary of a Swedish drug company, with a fine of almost $10 million. In Birmingham, Alabama tonight, the abortion clinic bombed last week is back in business, and there now has been a significant find in the search for the man who investigators still are calling a key witness. Here's NBC's Pete Williams.
As the Birmingham clinic opened today for the first time since last week's bombing, law enforcement officials tell NBC News they found what could be a critical piece of evidence. A wig discovered in rural North Carolina in a mobile home, one of the last known addresses of Eric Robert Rudolph, seen here in pictures released by investigators. Police say his pickup truck was seen driving away from the Birmingham clinic just after the bomb went off. And eyewitnesses say the man who drove that truck ran from the clinic and removed a wig. But still, no sign of Rudolph. FBI and ATF agents have talked with his mother in Florida, but she claims not to know where he is. Meantime, federal agents are looking for any connection between the Birmingham attack and recent bombings in Atlanta at an abortion clinic, a gay nightclub, and the '96 Summer Olympics. One possible link, a letter claiming responsibility for the Birmingham bomb that looks strikingly like a letter sent after the Atlanta bombings. Investigators are now examining both to see if they were written by the same person. At the Birmingham clinic today, its director said opening up keeps a commitment to women.
This is women's lives. Women have to have access to abortion. And that's what this is about.
Tonight, federal agents are still calling Eric Rudolph only a material witness, even though they have an all-out effort underway to find him. Pete Williams, NBC News, Washington.
When we come back, Ronald Reagan, the inspiring twilight of a remarkable life.
Last winter, after years of high cholesterol, Mike Vaughn had a heart attack. He spoke to his doctor about Zocor, a cholesterol medicine proven to help save the lives of people with high cholesterol and heart disease. Now he's made some important plans with Alex. When diet and exercise aren't enough, talk to your doctor about adding Zocor. Zocor is a prescription medicine and is not right for everyone. It is not for people with liver problems or women who are nursing, pregnant, or may become pregnant. Your doctor may perform blood tests to check for liver problems. Because serious side effects can result, tell your doctor about any muscle pain or weakness you experience while on Zocor. And tell your doctor about any medicines you are taking. For product information, talk to your doctor or pharmacist, or call 1-800-MERC-94. Zocor is the most often prescribed cholesterol medicine. Aren't there enough reasons in your life to ask your doctor about Zocor? Zocor, cholesterol medicine that helps save lives. It's your future. Be there.
There's a lot more to transportation than just getting from point A to point B.
Before you write these, someone got to make this.
Seaports, airports, subways, someone has to build them all from the ground up.
Before you write this, someone's got to make this and this and this.
But when it comes to getting from A to B, there is one company that makes everything from A to Z.
So for this,
We're Siemens.
we can do that.
Only by going alone in silence can one get into the heart of the wilderness. All other travel is mere dust and hotels and baggage and chatter.
How far will America go if there's a war with Iraq? Could Russia get in the way? Find out why Yeltsin may be a threat. In depth and only on NBC Nightly News tomorrow.
Investigating the president. The story is changing every hour as Kenneth Starr's deadline to Monica Lewinsky approaches. Stay with MSNBC tonight for the absolute latest.
Whatever you think of his politics, Ronald Reagan is the quintessential American success story with his working class roots, his rise from the Midwest to first radio and then film stardom. A liberal turned conservative, he was twice elected governor of the nation's Golden State, California, and twice elected president, always by landslides. Tomorrow, he'll be 87 years old. And as NBC's Gwen Ifill tells us tonight, the Gipper as we knew him is now but a memory.
The Ronald Reagan we remember.
Goodbye, and God bless each and every one of you.
But as he turns 87 tomorrow, he's now so different than that man we remember.
This has been described as the long goodbye. The person is really dying, but they're dying very, very slowly.
Those who have seen Mr. Reagan in recent months say he is physically alert in spite of his Alzheimer's disease. Off to the office each day, taking walks on the beach, and occasionally playing golf.
He smiled, his eyes shined. You couldn't see that he had Alzheimer's.
But those who know him well also say that the Ronald Reagan they knew, the storyteller, the great communicator, is gone.
There are times I wouldn't want to ask him my name, but it does not bother me whether or not he knows who I am.
But Ronald Reagan is in his twilight, and those who know him say the man who once seemed larger than life must now be prodded to remember his own remarkable career as a movie star, a governor, a president. Washington has not forgotten Ronald Reagan. Last year, they named a massive new federal building after him. And yesterday, Congress voted the former president a birthday gift, renaming Washington National Airport Ronald Reagan Washington National Airport. Nancy Reagan is the one sure thing in Ronald Reagan's life.
She's carrying a tremendous burden, and she wants him to be remembered the way we all remember him.
Son Michael says his father hasn't called him by name in a year, and he wonders whether his famously divided family will survive after their father goes.
If there's a prayer that I pray every day, that when Dad is no longer here, that the family doesn't just completely fall apart. And that's something I worry about every day.
But no one is thinking very far ahead. For now, it seems enough to simply be able to put 87 candles on a birthday cake. Gwen Ifill, NBC News, Washington.
That's Nightly News for this Thursday night. I'm Tom Brokaw, and I'll see you back here tomorrow night, February 6th.
NBC Nightly News is America's most watched evening news program.
The First Lady broke her silence on Today, the Vice President too, and George Bush Jr. only on Today. When politics matters, people turn to Today, America's morning news leader.
Go back to Chicago.